Okay, welcome to Seasoned Women's Podcast, a podcast that's raw, real, and uncut. Okay, Seasoned Women, we're going to make it make sense. I'm just saying. My name is Mary D, and I am the host of Seasoned Women Podcast and the queen of all seasons. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, my guests today are Mary Weber and her husband, Frank. And I've got a little information on them, so I'm gonna read their bio. Mary Weber, after growing up in Wichita, Kansas, attended Salt Lake Community College and Snow College in Utah. They call it Snow College?
They do.
Okay. Trained through Kansas Braille Transcribing Institute in Wichita, Kansas, before going into special education for the next 7 years. Then, after moving back to Utah, Mary started Braille's transcribing services with her family. Moved to Springfield, Missouri in 2019, where she has started a nonprofit as well as a Braille transcribing business. The Legends Project is the focus of Mary's time now, which is my book, The Black Legends of Kansas. With her family, she is promoting Braille literacy through social change. Congratulations to you, Mary.
Thank you.
Frank, you attended Wichita State
Yes.
University. You graduated with a degree in social psychology. Boy, yes. I tell you what, that's really needed now.
Something is.
Yes, he has worked in the business field as well as being a veteran. He, along with Mary, created the Legends Project and now serves as a project coordinator. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and welcome to Seasoned Women, Frank and Mary.
Glad to be here.
Thank you, thank you.
I'd like to ask you a few questions based on what I, had collected, and then also ask some questions on your pamphlet, the brochure that you sent me as well. Do you know who the person was that created Braille? Do you know his name?
I do. It's Louis Braille.
Yes. And he was a small child when he did that, wanting to make sure that he could, because he was blind, he wanted to make sure that he and others could read in Braille. Can a regular person read Braille as well? Can it be transcribed to where a regular person can read it if they don't want to read it in a regular text? It's just so happened if they have a child or a parent or something like that, especially a child.
Yes, yeah, and actually they can. It takes a little bit more time to be able to read by feel, but I can read just by sight. I can read all of the Braille. So it is very, very possible, and it's really easy to learn.
And one thing with that, Mary, we actually have a workshop where we introduce Braille to anybody. We invite people in, and we literally within a half an hour can teach them the first 10 letters of the alphabet. And after that, by the addition of one additional cell, because it's a code, it's not a language, they can learn the next 10, and then the second edition of another one, they've learned the entire alphabet within 30 minutes. It's
wow. Oh, okay. Okay. So what piqued your interest, Mary, especially in wanting to do Braille? What was your passion about that?
Well, I would have to say that, as years ago when I was just getting started associating with Kansas Braille Transcription Institute, my mom actually was going through there. And so I was actually going and helping her. And that's what kind of piqued my interest in it. Because I'm like, this is actually really easy. And this is something that is very much needed on being able to get Braille material out there for those who need it.
Okay. And you, Frank, what piqued your interest?
Well, I think it was the fact that watching Mary do this, and then I'm into research. I like to research everything. And I found out that there are an enormous amount of people that have transcribed in the past that literally just are retiring or quitting or for whatever reason. So there is such a huge need to have material in Braille. And then I started seeing some other aspects socially that really kind of angered me in some ways about how we treat people with visual loss. And so that's kind of where this all kind of led to where we are right now.
Yeah, and doing some research that I was doing earlier, it says that Braille is a little expensive when it comes to, trying to transcribe and whatever. Why is that? Do you know?
It does take quite a bit more time to transcribe a book. As you learned when I was transcribing your book, there is several steps that it takes on doing that. There's also, because after you get it done, you have to send it to a proofreader and have them make sure that there are no mistakes in that. Also, the paper, the embosser, which is kind of like a printer, but it is what puts the Braille in the raised dots. It's quite a bit more expensive than just a regular printer that you would use for printing.
Yes.
That's some of the aspects on that is the reasons why I try to keep my costs down quite a bit, just to make it available for those who need it, the blind and the visually impaired.
Yeah. And I noticed that when we first did the rollout for the Black Legends, it was like 5 volumes at first. And Mary, when you and I went over there to present the new version of it, reduced version, let me just say that, it was 3. So it was reduced quite a bit from 5 volumes to 3.
Yes. Yeah, I did a lot more. I think I did a lot more on your book because I wanted to make sure that it was absolutely perfect.
Yeah. And I think based on what the person at WSU's library said, it was just perfect because it fits. It was room for the 3 volumes, which is really, it was really good. So, what social change, Frank, can we get from a Braille? What are the social changes that we can get from Braille?
Well, that's a really good question, Mary. And I think the biggest thing that we can work for right now is that recognizing and being educated in this country, in Kansas, in Missouri, in Wichita, in Springfield, around the world, the fastest growing population that are losing their eyesight from macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, cataracts, and other health issues is those individuals over the age of 60, the baby boomers from 1946 to 64. That whole group of people is starting to really create a tidal wave of issues, and people every day are realizing that people in their own family are losing their eyesight. Some people are literally going to bed, waking up, and they're blind. It's fast. So what we're trying to do is to educate the system, because we have talked to state people, we've talked to veterans associations. They see the problem, but they're not sure what to do about it. So social change occurs when you take something and you try to make it better by making awareness number one and education a part of that. So that's what we're trying to do, is to educate, make people aware, and be proactive with what we're doing through the Legends Project.
Okay. Why do you think there was not that much attention when it came to Braille being, used in schools and in the libraries? Why do you think there wasn't that much attention brought to the issue?
That is actually a very good question. Because, we have to be proactive. And, when they're seeing all of the statistics, but they don't know what to do, it's like, how can you not know what to do to make this right for someone?
I think also along with that you have to realize that to actually teach Braille in a school, you have to have a teaching degree, plus you have to go through specialized training to learn Braille. And we're seeing that a lot of school districts do not want to spend the extra money to do that. So
Wow.
you would be shocked at some of the statistics that probably right now 80 to 85% of blind people cannot even read Braille, which
Wow.
if you at your age could not read or write or put words together to make a sentence, you would be illiterate. So
Mm.
you're looking at about 80% of a population that are basically illiterate because they're not being taught what they need to know to be successful in society and in their own lives. And
So
that's what needs to change.
yeah, and that's a segment of this of the population that's been ignored, because I'm looking at these numbers here where it says that more than 1.6 million people with uncorrectable visual acuity loss, and 141,000 persons with blindness or under the age of 40.
Yes,
That's
and those
blinding, or I hate to, use that as a metaphor, but that's terrible, terrible numbers, statistics.
and what's happening, Mary, right now because of that population that are aging, those numbers, experts, we're talking from the CDC, from the NIH, from the optometry associations, are stating that the numbers are going to double within the next 3 to 5 years and quadruple in the next 5 to 10 years. We are going to have a huge healthcare crisis, and we're not going to be prepared for it. And that's our loved ones, our brothers, our sisters, our moms, our dads, our grandparents that are suffering because society as a whole right now has not seen that coming and done something about it and made sure that Braille material was in libraries for them to learn from, make sure that there are workshops or classes to teach people like you, Mary, so that you can help in your own community to help with Braille. So that's part of what we're trying to do.
Okay. Do you have any statistics about other countries outside of the United States that are doing better when it comes to Braille reading for their residents?
Most of the countries outside of the United States, they are pushing that because it is an inexpensive way for in another country, because we have all the rules and regulations here they don't have in many countries. So somebody can sit down that knows how to teach Braille, how to introduce them to the alphabet and to help them to put words together to make sentences. A lot of countries are already starting that. European countries, Middle Eastern countries, African countries, they're already ahead of the curve because they've been dealing with this for quite some time, because blindness in those countries is way beyond what we have in the United States. And over the next few years, we're actually going to catch them in some areas that we're not even aware of at this point.
That's crazy. This sounds like on healthcare as a whole, our country is behind when it comes to their residents. They have money to do a whole lot of other stuff, but when it comes to the benefit of the people, it's like we don't have it. Where are we gonna find it?
Yeah, there seems to be even when healthcare groups get together to discuss what the problems are in their state, such as here in Missouri, we have such, and I was a part of this group. Well, yes, we see there's a problem with eyesight, but we need to focus on these other things. And it's like, you're going to get slapped in the face by this at some point, and then you're going to go, well, we should have been told that we needed to do something, and you're being told and you won't listen. And that happens in healthcare too many times.
Yes. I know that you and Mary have traveled to various fairs and events and trying to get other states to also join in with the Legends Project, which I think is a very good idea, to expose women that are doing awesome things, in their states.
Right.
And so have you made any progress with that?
You would be shocked. We actually, I just happen to have a copy of the Braille book right here, one of the volumes.
Yeah.
The Black Legends of Kansas is more than just an anthology of stories. It is the heartbeat of a culture and of women in the state of Kansas, Black women specifically. We are wanting to take what Mary Dean has put the seeds in the ground for and harvest much more in other states, because we have found that if you have a Braille book going into a library, then the print book has to follow. So instead of going into libraries and removing books that may cause some people to, well, I don't know, that's historical. They're talking about civil rights women and some things in there. They to get the Braille book, and oh well, it's in Braille. That's not, and it's about women. That's great. We'll put it in our library. And then when they see the print copy, they're like, oh, what did we do? So it's kind of a under the table way of getting this across, because there are incredibly women in the state of Missouri that are Black that have made an incredible difference in the state, other states as well. And as we go into some states, this book is not going to be liked in its print form because of the stories in it, but in its Braille form, they won't know what's coming until it's already on the shelves.
Wow.
So we are progressing. We're getting things in line to get this entered into the state of Missouri, and then we're going to go to the next state and the next state to do the same things. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you to Mary Dean for the seeds that she planted with this book, because the fruit of this is going to be generations of harvest to come by doing this now. Because if we look at society and what's happening out there, books are of the devil in many people's eyes. And we need to do whatever we can to ensure that we don't lose track of what's important, and that's our histories.
Yes.
What this is, it's an anthology, but it also has a statement to go with it.
Yes, and I want to thank you and Mary for taking up that task, because I can't even imagine. I know how long it took me to even finish or think about finishing the book. My great good friend Gwendolyn Baines, who was an inspiration to me, God rest her soul, stayed on me for 10 years. So I can't even imagine. You and Frank Mary have gone further with the Braille side of the book than I would have expected. When we first met, almost 2 years ago, we first met, and then when we did the rollout in January of last year, and up to this point, it's just been a great adventure with the both of you. So I truly appreciate it, and I'm hoping that every Braille book, or every book that you can get in the libraries, would be an awesome thing to happen.
Well, we appreciate that. And I will tell you this, we have been meeting, and we've had several meetings with the state librarian for the state of Missouri, who has over 300 plus libraries in the state of Missouri. And they have given us their blessing to put Braille books into the local libraries. And already having this book, we can start placing that very shortly into every library in the state of Missouri. And through that, we're going to start gathering those stories, and we're going to start gathering a wave of support to get this book done. So yes, Mary, I'm sorry it took you 10 years. We're hoping to do this in less than 2.
That's right. Do you have someone in Missouri that's helping you on the Missouri side to get these women who are legends? I know one of them is my sister-in-law, Barbara Ann Washington, who's a senator.
Yes, and we are going to utilize her as much as we can, because we need to have support from the legislative side on this. We need to have people that see, first of all, it's not this specific book. It is the idea of Braille. And that has already gained a momentum. As a matter of fact, we're going down to Branson, Missouri. They have a Veterans Week celebration that's worldwide known. Thousands and thousands of veterans attend this whole week long. We are actually introducing a book by a veteran, a Marine hero, that Mary was able to get the rights to Braille. It's a very small book, but we're going to be presented. It's going to be the first one presented to the local library in Branson, and we have Lieutenant Governor will be there, several friends of ours in the legislature, and it's a good opportunity media-wise to get that. So people are going, I didn't know that was an issue, because the more people that are aware of this, the more this is going to matter. So when we start getting a specific book into libraries, then people like Senator Washington, legislators, they're going to want to be supporting that in their area, because they see right next to them people that are, I've got vision problems. I've got family that have vision problems. We need to address this. And by having these Braille materials available makes it good for everybody. And through that, we're going to be able to get this book in the hands of people that need to read it as well.
Right. And one thing I can say, I believe that the Senate and the House in Missouri is more progressive than they are here in Kansas. I hate to say that, but it's honest to God truth. I think that what you're doing when it comes to that project, you have some progressive minds that are willing to take it as far as they can take it, and put it in the hands of the people that really need it.
One thing we're finding out, Mary, is that, it's easy for people on this side of the fence to say no, and this side of the fence to say no about your saying no. But when it comes to individuals with sight loss and that's affecting people in their own families, this is about as bipartisan as I've ever seen an issue. And right now, in a polarized state, even Missouri being polarized, this is on both sides of the aisle. What can we do to help? Because this is a problem. What can we do to fix this? So it's nice that we've actually tapped into that one thing. So hopefully by that, we can gain some friendships, some allies to say, okay, let's look at some other issues that are apart that need to be looked at. And hopefully we'll have an ear at that point in time.
That's great. I know you can't say anything without recognizing Randolph Cabal, because Randy was the one that first contacted me. I didn't know who he was. And, to ask me if what could he do to help promote the book in it. He wanted to put it in Braille, and what he wanted to do in Braille, what he's done in Braille, him and his company. So can't move on and say anything without recognizing Randy about the work that he's done in Braille. So I really appreciate him on that. I know we have been focusing on women in Braille, but there's a lot of children that have written books that would be a great target market to do some Braille in. Children are where it's at. It really is.
Yeah, I actually did. I've done what, two or three,
but well, you're getting ready to do another one.
Yeah, children's books, and I put two of those books we actually presented to the local library in Bolivar, Missouri, this last April, I believe. And she was in tears because she said that was the first books in Braille that they have had.
Oh.
And it was just an honor to be able to do that. So yeah, I've got more children's books to do. And in fact, that one author, she just finished her third book. So I'll be meeting with her.
And what we would like to do with since we're getting so much attention on this, is we'd like to set it up to where, and I think local legislators would, this would be a good point for them to focus on, is let's get the local schools, the kids that are in school that are blind or extremely visually impaired, that are writing little poems and little books. Let's do something to where we can gather those together and Braille them all each year into a book. There is a person here in Springfield who has been in education for years. As a matter of fact, she will be in the Missouri Black Legends book. She's got an incredible story, but she literally is willing to get these kids together to create these stories, and that we can take them and put them in, not only in the print version, but Braille them and get them out to wherever they need. And hopefully if we can do that, maybe we can duplicate that in Kansas and in other states in our vicinity.
Oh, that sounds great. Let me ask you, do you think it would be possible if the women that are in Black Legends of Kansas and the women, once it's finally finished, the Black Legends of Missouri, can come together and have a big celebration or meet and greet,
that would be great.
What that would do, Mary, that would be the catalyst to have that book, and we want this to be a movement, a grassroots movement of women that are still alive, and the stories from the past, that we could literally take this into every state. Our goal is to go into states right now where a book like that would be considered questionable, and to have it well received, because the women in that state are standing up and saying, hey, no, you need to tell these stories, and I want to tell you a story about this person that needs to be in that book. And to have Kansas and Missouri, those women that are still with us together, that would be a catalyst that I can tell you that no state would want to pass by on. The media attention and the grassroots movement that goes with that. They're going to want to be a part of that, or it's going to be their downfall.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea.
Yeah,
If we could get someone like a Mary Dean to help put that together, that would be fantastic.
that would be.
We should try to find someone like that.
Wow. Okay, so what do you think are the solutions when it comes to Braille and eye disease? You know, I know that there are some diseases that you can't, you know, stop. The macular degenerate one, the ones that affect people that have diabetes and all of that, you know. So what can we do as a solution to help that?
Mary, unfortunately, medically, you've said it. There are some aspects of this that you can't go back. When you lose, you lose. There's some of it that can be slowed, and there's some that can be stopped after a certain damage has already been done. The problem with all of that is, as our populations get older, and they will over the next year, those things are going to become even more apparent, and they're going to grow worse. And not only that, let's just say, okay, maybe we could do something with that. Let's look the next 20 to 30 years. We've got kids that are in school that have been glued to computers, video games, everything. And experts are starting to see, and we're seeing it in the research, that those kids are starting to have certain eye problems that are going to continue to get worse as they go through life. So there is no end in sight. This is not something we can just have a magic cure for. It would be nice, but what we need to do now is to educate people that it is a problem. It's a healthcare issue, and it affects everybody. And it's just a matter of time before it's going to affect somebody close to you, whether it is your brother, your sister, your parents, your grandparents, a loved one, a family member, somebody. So education right now, Mary, is what we're trying to do. And we're trying to promote something that literally is kind of going by the wayside. And we want people like you, like in Wichita. Let's come to Wichita and do some workshops and have fun learning something that you didn't know before, a skill that you can even just play with around your house. You can label things in your house and know, and people, well, what's I put it in Braille. I know exactly what this is. I can close my eyes and see what it is. And it's a way to people that can, if they run across somebody in their family that's having issues, hey, I've got something that I can help you with. And it makes us all feel more empowered that way to do it, because we can't rely on the government. We know that. We have to do that for us.
Yes, and that's absolutely right. So what would your advice be, Mary, for someone that is thinking about entering that profession? I mean, what are the pros and what are the cons? Because I know it's got to be some cons. So what do you say?
Well, I would say that, you know, Braille is fun. You have to go into wanting to learn Braille with a positive attitude, because it is very easy. There are some that say, I could never do this. And then they get into it and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. You know, the cons, I really don't have any cons about it, except maybe the price of buying the equipment to do it.
There is such a huge need, Mary.
It's huge.
It's amazing. I would say if we could rank it on a scale, and it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah.
I would say right now, government statistics are showing there's probably anywhere from 43 to 63,000 vacancies of transcribers that are needed to just keep up with what's being printed and produced today.
Wow.
And it's a huge market to get into. Just as an example, there people say, well, what can you make any money at it? Well, it kind of depends on you. It's like anything else. You have to grow, you have to learn, and there's different things you learn. And some of the top people that know how to do, let's say, for example, college level textbooks. One textbook can actually cost anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000 to produce in Braille, because of the complexities of it and the length of time. So there, yeah, there are some things out there that organizations, companies, schools are willing to pay for. They just don't have anybody that's willing to do it. How easy it is. We have a 17-year-old daughter who is homeschooled. She's an amazing young lady, but I'll be honest, she's my daughter, but not all her chickens are at home sometimes. And
she's a normal teenager.
Yeah, she is going through the certification process and learning Braille. As a matter of fact, she does all of the document preparation for Mary. And when you were talking about Randall, he actually has witnessed what Emily, our daughter, can do when it comes to her job. He says, you do it better and faster than anybody I've ever been around. And he's just in the learning process, but she sees it when we go. And when she was at your rollout, and she just got hooked. When the mayor of Wichita came up and said, I don't believe how you're doing this. When I was your age, I was getting into trouble. And she is doing what she sees is the right thing. And she hears this from me all the time. It's either you're part of the solution or you're part of the problem. And she wants to be part of the solution.
That's great.
Just to check it out as well.
Yeah.
It's free to learn Braille.
It's
free. It's an online program.
So. And that's what I was going to ask. How do people, that's interested, how do they, where do they need to go? Is there a link that they can follow or click in or what?
There is UEB as in boy online.org. It's free to do it. I mean, you can get I had a couple of ladies, it was actually a mother and a daughter that got into it. The daughter is a student in Florida and works with NASA. She's done with that program in less than 2 months, I believe. Her mom got done in less than 4 months.
Okay. Well, is it anything that you two would like to add to what we're talking about in our discussion?
I would just like to say that I think people out there need to be aware that, again, this is not something that everybody's talking about. But if you look in your own family, you're going to see the problem is right there staring at you in the face. It may not be as bad as you think it is at this moment, but as individuals get older, more and more things happen with their eyesight. And the last thing you want to do is to wake up one day like so many people we come across that I went to bed last night. I could see not so great, but I could see. I woke up today and I am totally blind. And what happens with that, the depression and everything that comes with that, the highest group of suicide rates in the United States is within our 60 plus population, older seniors. This is one of the reasons why they don't want to be a burden anymore. They can't function. They can't be independent. And they just lost hope. We want to give them back their hope. And this is one way that we can do it in our little bitty, tiny little rock that we throw in the huge pond. But by having people like you wanting to hear about that, and the people that know you that will listen to you, Mary Dean, that makes them want to go, you know what, I need to check on this. I need to find out more. I need to see what I can do. And we appreciate you for giving that venue to allow that information to get out there with people.
Absolutely. So how can people get in contact with you, Mary, if they're interested in transcribing their book into Braille? How can they contact you?
They can either go to my email, which is Mary's Braille. I'm going to try to bring this up to where you guys can see it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be my contact information. Also, we do have a website, thelegendsproject.org.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the Legends Project, www.thelegendsproject.org. Sorry.
All right.
I would ask if anybody is interested in doing a workshop in the Wichita area. We would be willing to come out there from Springfield to do a workshop to introduce Braille. We use high-tech equipment. Actually, it's a muffin tin, 6-hole muffin tin, and tennis balls. And I can tell you right now, I guarantee that within 30 minutes, you're going to know the alphabet utilizing Braille. And that's going to make such a difference, just having that skill You don't, whether you ever use it or not, but you have something and it's fun to learn. And we would ask anybody that's watching Mary Dean, let Mary Dean know that, hey, I'd like to have a workshop, and we will be more than glad to come out and do that, because every workshop we do, if we can help one person, then doing what we need to do.
And I tell you what, hopefully next year that would be something that I would want to do with both of you.
Yes,
Yeah.
we want to do that.
Absolutely.
We want to do
Absolutely. I
that.
would love it.
We'll see what happens next year, Lord willing.
Lord willing.
Well, I want to go ahead, Mary. Go ahead.
No,
Go
just
ahead.
say I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you both for taking out time out of your busy schedule to sit with me and being my guest on this podcast. It's always a pleasure to talk to both of you, because you have so much knowledge when it comes to Braille and the books. And so thank you, Mary, and thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Assisting this young lady here.
Yes,
and doing what
that
she
is.
does real good. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Thank you
you.
for being the catalyst and the person that literally was the reason why I wanted to do this and push this
Yes.
and make a difference. So thank you for what you do.
Hence our nonprofit name, the Legends Project.
Exactly.
Thank y'all. I love y'all. Peace
Love you.
out. Till the
Peace out.
next time, okay?
All righty.
All right. Take care now.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.